Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda, the Minish Cap. In the last part, we got the Force Sword, found out where the Light Force was within Princess Zelda, and now we're going to continue on and do the rest of Dark Hyrule Castle, actually, up until the final boss door. Perhaps your sword can reflect some of the blasts coming from the statue. This is a basic Zelda gimmick. You have to swing your time your swings in order to hit the ball back at the statue. There's only 2 of these in the game, but this one's easy. The second one's rather pain in the ass. Oh, and also last part we got all 20 hearts, so we technically reached 100% of the European version. Well, that you can do in the main game. And more Floor Masters. I gotta say, I do like the way they look in the Toon Link games, particularly in Wind Waker HD. Then again, Wind Waker HD just looks beautiful. And oh great, one of these puzzles. Those who have played Legends of Zelda: The Oracle of Ages will know this all too well. Pretty much you have to step on every tile in a pattern that gets every single one of them turned red. If you touch another tile that you've already touched, you have to reset it, same if you miss a tile. Luckily, there's only 2 of them in this game, and unlike Oracle of Ages, none of them cover a whole room. So yeah. And we got this thing returning from the Royal Crypt. Pretty much the trap here is the only big issue. Just time it so that you don't touch it like so, and you should be good. And also take advantage of the fact that you can have your guys slightly inside of an object for a very short time, because that can actually help get through that faster. Anyway, that small key is all we needed on this floor. We can actually head back to the main room, actually. And those those windows have more eyes on them. I wonder if that's important. And it kind of is. And we want to use that key so we can come down here to actually my least favorite room in the entire dungeon. This is the second statue thing, and to do this one you have to have everyone straight in a line. However, you can either do a really well-timed spin attack, which I find incredibly difficult to do, or you can take the easier way out, which still took me around 3 minutes, which is to turn really quickly and hit the other statues. With that, the rest of the dungeon should be easy peasy. And we got an oddly different colored Keaton. Don't get the point of the different coloring, they do the exact same stuff. But pretty much what we want to do here is blow up a wall towards the bottom left corner. Right there, actually. And then, one thing I don't think I mentioned about when you're on fire yet is that when you're on fire you actually can't trigger any screen transitions, which is annoying. And we got a red Darknut. Actually, one thing I don't think I've really mentioned is the differences between the different Darknuts, and aside from the obvious sprite differences, their big difference aside from maybe attack power is the fact that later levels of Darknuts recover from, like, bombs more quickly and such. Like, the final level pretty much recovers almost immediately. Anyway, at the compass we can see there's only 5 dungeons. 5 chests left. We'll be getting all of them because they're actually required. Anyway, push the throne to the left, a link to the past style, and we find ourselves in a random dark cavern with Gibdos. And thinking about it, I just realized this is the only game, Toon Link game at least, where Gibdos make an appearance. Redeads make a lot of appearances, like in Wind Waker and such, but not Gibdos. Give me your fairy fool. Thank you. And we're actually outside the dungeon now, which I kinda like. Although, based on the purple sky, it makes me wonder how high in the sky are we supposed to be? Or at least, what does the castle look like to people outside of it? Because when you exit from the south, it looks completely normal. So is this an outside from within the inside? That's some Doctor Who stuff going on there. Anyway, I think there's a way you can actually break both these statues, but I don't feel like doing that. I think this is also the last section where we actually have to use as low as a flying thing. Also, the cannonballs they shoot can hit you, but you have to be at so low an altitude that you'll pretty much fall the next frame, which is something I find rather odd. Anyway, with this room, you might notice that that fireball is spinning around. You want to activate all 4 of your clones when it's at the top of its rotation, so you can get down here, and then push the block down a couple spaces. Actually, you don't even have to come onto this platform at all. You can just skip right past that. In fact, if anything, I think the cannonballs help you in this section, because if I recall, everywhere that they are is actually in the middle of the cannonballs, where the tornadoes are at least, so that actually can help you guideline yourself. And I doubt that was their intention. Anyway, what you might see down at the bottom of the screen now is, well, mine, it's kind of big, so I would be wondering how you wouldn't see it, is a tower. There are 4 of these in the castle, and each one of them contains a certain something we're going to need to progress on through. So pretty much once we're inside the castle, the 4 towers are our main goals. Anyway, this room took me a second to remember because I forgot that there was actually a switch that you could shoot right there, even though it's on screen. Pretty much just use your boomerang or arrows on it. Although one thing I like about the switches in this game is that they actually use the exact same sound effects from the Link Between Worlds? No. Although I think they use the same sound effects in that as well. Link's Awakening and the Oracle games. In fact, the handheld Zelda games tend to do that a lot, but they tend to reuse sound effects from older ones, which, mind you, I don't mind at all. Love the Link's Awakening and Oracle games. Anyway, you need to be in that specific order in order to hit all those switches, so keep that in mind. And we got 2 ball and chain soldiers. Ball and chain shoulders. New from L'Oreal. Pretty much these guys serve as the technical mini-boss. Which is odd, because they actually give you the red portal, because the boss star is right above us. Also, one weird thing I'd like to mention about the green fire that's on screen right now. Oh, first off, you actually have to use your gust jar here in order to grab one of the bomb bombs, which are actually called bomb bites, and shoot it into those blocks above us to build them up. If you actually look in the green fire that are on the big pedestals in some of the rooms, like the room just north of us or south of us, in the middle of it, during certain frames, you can actually see another eyeball. If you can't tell, the eyeballs are kind of important. I'll go over why next part. Also, I notice those doors that are big and unmovable. We'll go over why those are there pretty much right about now. First off, we got the first black Darknut. These are the ones that pretty much recover from bombs immediately. So you have to be quick while finding them. In fact, you might see there's another door right above us. Killing this Darknut will trigger this one to open, but also killing him will trigger Darknuts to spawn in every room that has a big iron door like that. Pretty much those doors lead to the aforementioned towers. And to open the doors, we need to kill the Darknuts in their rooms. You also get the blue portal, so this is technically the halfway mark, even though it's actually more like the 3/4. Also, you can do that for convenient 5 fairies. I kind of find it funny how to make the fight fair against normal Darknuts to have to send 2 at us. And random kinstone piece. But yeah, defeating the Darknuts will cause the door to open, so let's head north into this room to get a torch puzzle. Well, actually, it's just like the one in the Temple of Droplets, where you have to light them up without them going out. You have to pretty much have all 8 lit up in order to progress. Luckily, unlike the Temple of Droplets, there's no ice physics, making this one tremendously easier. Anyway, we got Guineas in here, but however, in 2 rooms specifically here in Dark Hyrule Castle, only one of the Guineas is mortal, the other ones will never die. And killing the one that is mortal causes the others to die, weirdly enough. Anyway, we're at the top of one of the towers, and here we got one of the 4 small keys left in the dungeon. And we need all 4 of them in order to progress. So, yeah, that's our current goal, because to get the 5th chest, we need to get the other 4. Luckily, getting them is rather easy. You can just barely see the fire sprite at the bottom of the screen. And another red Darknut. Actually, one thing I don't think I've actually shown that the Darknuts can do is that little attack that he just did right now, which is that weird Tornado Strike. That hurts if you can't tell. Oh, Darknuts, how I wish you were as easy to kill as you were in Majora's Mask or Wind Waker. Or as fun to fight as you were in Wind Waker, because they were actually one of my favorite guys to fight. And useless mysterious shells, okay. Anyway, with this room, as we'll see down here at the bottom, there's 4 switches we need to hit. And we pretty much need to arrange ourselves and our clone in a plus formation. Or at least the edges of a plus. And then we have to worm our way through the center. Like so. It looks hard, but it's not really. The hardest part's actually getting in there without hurting your guys. Pretty much just charge up a spin attack to hit all the switches. Actually, I think the formation we were just in is a formation in the Oracle game. Not Oracle, Four Swords Adventure. Anyway, down here you got useless Gibdos. I don't even know why this room is here aside from symmetry. Pretty much the key that we want is in fact at the top. They're always at the top, actually. Because I think this is technically the highest floor of the dungeon. Anyway, the next key we're going to be going for is the one in the southwest corner. Which is another one that's guarded by 2 Darknuts. Now, aside from the way they fight, I never really got what was the difference between Iron Knuckles and Darknuts. I mean, sure, in the Toon Link games, Darknuts, you can't really see it with the way the sprites are in this game. They're like these weird Anubis things. But aside from that, they're not really that different, unless you're playing Majora's Mask where all the Iron Knuckles were women. Anyway, we got the second and final one of the panel challenges. This one actually has a couple solutions that you can do, but they're all overall similar. There's just something satisfying about doing that without looking at a guide. If they were normal Guineas, that would have killed them. Ow! Asshole. Took my money! I hate Keatons for that. Although it's kind of deceiving too, because when they start charging up for that little dash attack, the Keatons make the same sound effect that the hearts make when you collect them. Anyway, right here you got a nice little refill room, which I actually abused for a bit in order to have up to 47 bombs? Yep. Or maybe no. Yeah, I do. What am I talking about? Anyway, up here you got key number 3. Actually, you know what? No, actually, that little... I didn't even realize that, little heart sound effect I'm hearing is actually the bridge, one of the bridges doing something. Totally solved it twice, and I don't care. Anyway, right here was the original endpoint, but then I realized how little was left of the dungeon, so I decided to go on anyway. And then I fall into a pit twice like an idiot. We get more Darknuts, although this is me actually surprisingly doing the roll spin effectively. I still don't know what the exact criteria for doing that is. All I know is that the spin attack still does more than the normal units of damage that you do. Oh, I love this room. First off, you got wall masters, which are always fun. They only take 3 slashes to kill, thankfully, so they're not that big of a problem. The fire, however, is... And we got 4 ice witches, which we actually haven't seen in a while, from what I remember. We do have to hit all 4 of them in order to progress, and like the ones back in the Wind Ruins, they have a habit of opening up. And we want to fall down this pit, so you can actually climb the stairs here, in order to end up in that little area we closed off in order to get in here. You want to head on up here for the 4th and final small key. And the door we opened down here, by the way, is only useful for one thing, and that's recovery hearts. Yeah, but with that we only have 1 chest left to get, so let's go and get it. I wonder what it could be. Hint, I know what it is. And I think this is actually the most keys you have at any point in this specific game. Later Zelda games would have you have more, I believe. I think Twilight Princess had you have, like, what, 5 or 6? I don't remember, it's been a while. No, Ocarina of Time had you had, like, 7. Anyway, we needed the 4 keys for these 4 key blocks so we can push the block out of the way with the power of 4. Which sounds like a really bad ripoff of the second Pokemon movie. I'm going to push that over to the right, left rather, or you can push it to the right as well, and you get the big key. With that, all we have left to do in this dungeon is the boss, and the way up to the boss. But before I do that, I decided to go replenish on the little pots I showed down on the floor below. Yeah, there's only 2 rooms left in the game. I don't really need the fairies on the left, however, I do need the bombs and arrows. And let's put the shield on for a good old time's sake. I barely used U-Shield, which is weird too, because I actually do usually have the shield equipped just in case. But anyway, the way to the boss that we can really make a shortcut with is with the red puddle, so let's use that immediately. But with that and us here in front of the boss door, I'm gonna need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, rate, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And next time on Let's Play Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap, we're gonna be going on to the final fight against Vati. Got me gapping for some reason. I'm gonna leave all those in. See you guys then.